Hello and welcome. My name is Dean Heald, and this is part 5 of a 10-part mini webinar series focused on how to understand and respond to some of those behaviors that come up in our homes with our kids, no matter what age. Today, it's part 5: the importance of maintaining routine and predictability. Building a routine, a predictable routine in the home is so important for a variety of reasons, and that's what we're going to talk about today. First and foremost, we need to understand that, even though our kids might push back a little bit when we're trying to develop a routine for them, there's lots of benefits for our kids for having their days be as predictable as possible. Now, we're not talking about scheduling every single minute or every single moment of their day. That's not what I'm talking about. And, this should be something that takes some of the pressure off parents, not adds pressure to parents. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But in terms of the benefits, it builds safety and belonging, that emotional safety of predictability, okay? Less things coming out of, less things coming out of nowhere, or, less unpredictable things happening, means more safety, more emotional safety, and it helps the kids feel like they belong in the home. I am contributing to the home, and depending on what age, and we'll talk a little bit about that, that'll a direct ratio to the type of input, a type of routines, type of expectations that kids have on them. So the older they are, the likely the more input into the home that they're giving. Skill development, right? So, ideally, by the time that our kids are ready to move out of our house, we've helped them learn all kinds of skills that are going to be necessary for them to run their own household, right? So, being part of, utilizing them to run the home, to help the home structure run as smoothly as possible. It's the immediate benefits of less for us as adults to do, and the long-term benefit of them having those skills once they move out. Responsibility. One of our jobs as caregivers is just to teach our children to be responsible, to fulfill expectations, to follow through with things that are expected of them. Right. So the more responsible our children are, the more effective they are. You teach them to be responsible in the home. That translates into outside the home, school, and like I say, when they move out. And healthy habits are once again, we're not born with the idea of what a healthy habit is. I know for one of my kids, he'd be more than happy to sleep in till 2 o'clock every day and stay up till 4 o'clock every night, and eat junk food if we let him, and that kind of thing. I don't want to run him down too much. He is a great kid, but yeah, like some of our teenagers, they would be happy to engage with some less than healthy habits if we let them. So we need to teach them the benefits of those healthy habits. We need to help them engage in those healthy habits until it becomes natural and normal for them. And then, of course, routines have the following benefits for parents as well. It lessens the workload, right? So why should one or two parents take on everything in the home? Why should I as the parent, cook the meal, clean up the meal, purchase the meal? Why should I do everything in the house, right? It's a shared responsibility, an effective household, a good place to be and live and grow up. We teach our kids that there's a shared responsibility to make it that, right? Make it as effective and comfortable as possible. And so, if we share that, it's less work on us, and it reduces the likelihood of conflict. So if my child knows that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the expectation is that they're going to do dishes, well, they're less likely to get angry when they're asked to do the dishes on one of those days, because it's just a predictable expectation. Now, if I, if I'm not consistent in when I ask them to do dishes, if I say, on a Wednesday, what, I was thinking you can do the dishes tonight. Well, I was going to go bike riding with my friends and they're expecting me, and why should I? And, so and so didn't do their dishes last week. Why can't they? And, like, you're more likely to have pushback when it's not a predictable expectation. It creates a sense of order in the home. And like we talked about initially, order, predictability, routine creates emotional safety, right? A smooth running home, it creates that emotional safety for everyone. And reduces stress, less workload, a sense of order, less conflict. Obviously, it's gonna result in less stress for us as parents, right? Less of those stressful times to deal with. Doesn't eliminate it completely, obviously, but certainly if we're effectively implementing routines, it certainly reduces that stress. So typical areas where we can be implementing routines, there's lots of them here. Those main ones: morning routine, mealtime routine, what chores, when should the chores be done? What chores are the responsibility of each individual in the home? What days are they responsible for that? Do we have a homework routine? I know for my kids and for myself when I was a kid, homework was far more likely to get done if there was an expectation, a certain part of every single evening where homework was being done, when TV was off. And and as a parent, I can even, there's been times when we will read. We will turn off technology. The kids are doing their homework, and we're taking time to read. All right, so we're kind of modeling that time as well, that quiet time, that disengage from technology and engage in the homework time. Family time can be part of routine, and then bedtime is probably one of the most common ones. What is your bedtime routine? And we've talked about in previous webinars about how important it is to have that bedtime routine. So routines through childhood, it's going to look different depending on the age of your child. Early childhood, the kind of time, from one till 6 or 7 years old. This is where you're starting to build routines. Right. This is when you're starting to build an expectation that certain things happen at a certain time of day, or there are certain steps that go into a certain task, right? So some of those examples there for bedtime routines there. Children love predictability. Children like the safety of a predictable routine. And for myself, I always wanted to know what it was that I needed to do in order to fulfill the expectations of my parents, and not get in trouble. I was somebody who could very easily get in trouble, so I liked the predictability of knowing exactly what I needed to do to stay out of trouble. Kids at this age, they learn from repetition, right? They're not right away. They're not going to, know how to clean up their room, or make a bed, or, or put away their toys, or, wash their hands properly, or brush their teeth. All of those things. So they learn from doing it over and over and over. And they say that the typical person needs to hear something up to 9 times before they commit it to long-term memory. So practicing with our kids at this age, coaching, monitoring, praising. So getting in there, brushing your teeth with them, showing them the steps. You might even have a little visual on the mirror in their bathroom that shows, step 1, brush their teeth. Step 2, go to the potty. Step 3, get a drink of water, or whatever. And so you can even visualize some of those routines until it becomes natural for them, until they remember it, to how to do it independently. And at this age, you really want to choose routines with a few steps. Okay, so if we're talking cleaning or going to bed, first step, put on your pajamas. Step 2, choose a book. Step 3, get in bed. That could be, part of your bedtime routine. So really breaking that down to, simplifying it to those three important key steps, right? And if the more that they do that, the more natural it's going to become, and the less, the less like we're going to have to tell them what to, how to do it, right? And then that takes some of that workload off of us. Middle childhood, so they're starting to get a little bit older, and they at this age, they need a little less of that direct supervision. They might try and get away with skipping some of those routines, and that's why that's when we have to step in to really to ask, did you do this, or is this done, or let's take a look at how well you you clean that room, or did all of your toys get put away, that kind of thing. So we might need to check in with them, but really the goal here is for them to be engaging in their routines more independently. Less coaching is necessary, less direct coaching or direct teaching is necessary. At this age, what's really effective is that first then, and what I mean by that is, first you put away your toys and make your bed, then you can turn on the TV. First you clean off the table and you put your dish in the dishwasher, and then you can go for a bike ride with your friends. First you get your lawn mowing done, and then you can have your ice cream. Delaying the reward, delaying that the payoff, or delaying the gratification until they're completed. That's really effective at this age. They want something, you want something, and it teaches them that responsibility. First we take care of our responsibilities, then we get the fun, if you will. Talked about that independence, less need at this age for that direct supervision, and at this age, you might not necessarily need to teach them specifically what they should be doing before bed, okay? Or how to do what they're doing before bed, sorry. You might not need to teach them what they need to do before bed, or how to do it. You need to teach, show them, okay, so these are the steps, and I didn't articulate this very well. Okay, so they might know how to make their, how to get their teeth brushed. They might know how to get their pajamas on. They might know, how to put away all their toys that they took out in the evening. But they might just forget one of this, that they need to do one of those things. So you can utilize a visual schedule that says, these are the things that need to be accomplished before you're in bed. These are the things that you need to accomplish in the morning before you get your TV time. So you can have a schedule up there like the one that's on here. Sorry, I didn't articulate that very well at the beginning, but the idea is you can say what they need to do, and so identifying what they need to do, and then they'll remember independently, hopefully, because of the repetition, the steps in each one of those things that they need to do. The teen years, this is that time when they're really seeking some independence from home. So they see themselves as more independent. They don't, a lot of teenagers, they don't like to be told what to do, but they do need to recognize that they are still a part of the home, and they still need to contribute to the effective functioning of the home environment, right? So it's what's great is to blend routines in the home with the routines outside of the home. So here are the things that you need to do for home, and this is school, or this is Wednesday, Friday is soccer, or that kind of thing. So identifying their responsibilities and what goes into those responsibilities. How do they accomplish, successfully accomplish everything that they need to do on their list. So here's a simple list that you might use with a teenager that identifies everything that they need to do, and then they independently perform it, right? So at this age, hopefully, because we've started with routines early in childhood and all the way up to their teen years, we're not obviously teaching them how to pack a lunch, or how to get dressed, or what to do when they're at school. but we can identify that some of those things need to get done each day, prior to getting their, their allowance on Friday, so they can, go out, or that kind of thing. And the reason why we do this is it's skills for life. Like I talked about in the beginning, it's these are the skills that they're going to need to run a home of their own one day. So if they leave our home and they know how to make their own lunch, and if they've got some cooking skills, and if they've got some, they know how to do some basic yard maintenance, that kind of stuff. So the benefit is when they're ready to go, they're independent, more independent. And we can articulate that to our kids. Hey, yes, it's part of it because you're contributing to the home. Why should I, as your parent, do everything? But also part of it is you're going to have a home of your own soon. And you're going to need to know how to do some of these things on your own. So this kind of identifies some of those chores that you can use depending on the age of the kids. So if you look in here, you consider the age of your children and what are some of the things that they need to be helping out with. You'll see at that 4 or 5 years old age, it says set the table and clear the table. Okay, it won't be enough at that age to just say, can you set the table, please? Right? They'll need some of that direct coaching. Okay, first thing we're going to do is how many people are going to be eating? Let's count together. All right, if that means 5 people are eating, that means we need 5 sets of forks and knives. Let's get those. All right, you get the forks, I'll get the knives. And repeating through that process, okay, helping them learn this is what setting the table is. And after we coach them and teach them 7 or 8 times, after we do it with them that many times, all right, we can start saying, all right, so what's the first step? What have they learned? Okay, first step is how many people are eating? Exactly. Okay, so now that we know how many people are eating, what's the next step? So what have they learned, right? So you can pause here and kind of take a look at what kind of chores your kids should be doing depending on the age, and does it fit in your home? All right. So that has been the importance of routine in the home. If you have any questions, or if you need any support in developing some of those routines, as always, contact the wellness team at Kw'umut Lalem. That's their phone number and their extension. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope there's a little bit of something there for everybody, and we will see you hopefully in part 6. Take care.